are gonna start in the Savasana
Hit that like
pose,
button.
which is like corpse pose. So just laying down on our backs, relaxing. Might want to bolster under your knees. We're going to start by setting our intentions for the practice. Focus on what you want to bring into your life and what you're needing to let go of in order to allow that change and that shift. Going to remain in Savasana while setting our intentions and just really surrendering to the practice. Yin yoga is a special kind of cooling yoga. It's very relaxing. It's a lot like a nap, except that you're stretching at the same time. It's more invigorating than a nap, in my opinion. It's very restoring and rejuvenating. And in yin yoga, it's important that you don't stretch to your fullest capacity. You might want to find where your edge is and then just back off from that slightly. So,
Just making sure I'm in the screen.
Much longer than regular yoga. So we're going to prepare to do 5 deep belly breaths with your hands on your tummy like you are filling a balloon with air, or you're 9 months pregnant, or you swallowed a basketball. You're going to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth 5 times. Continue to remain in Savasana or corpse pose while we slowly rotate our head and neck from side to side. First, we're going to turn the head and neck to the right, looking over the right shoulder. And then carefully and slowly rotate the neck and head back to neutral. And then slowly to the left, looking over the left shoulder. And then back to neutral. And when we're done with that, we're going to hug our right knee tightly for several breaths. You have the option here to engage the foot, flex your heel, rotate your ankle, point your toe. We're going to continue hugging that knee, paying close attention to the micro movements, and focusing on the compression in your right hip socket. We're going to reach for the strap, get the canvas to go across the ball of your right foot, and then straighten that leg. You can pull that leg a little closer to your chest and we'll hold there. You might want to straighten the knee, you might want to bend it a little, you might want to mix it up back and forth. Continue to hold that stretch. And then we're going to bring the leg out to the right side with the strap or without if you like. We're going to hold the half straddle. Set your strap aside, lower your right leg back down to the mat. Switching legs, you're going to hug your left knee tightly. Again, you have that option to engage the foot and the ankle by flexing and pointing your toes, rotating the ankle, hugging that left knee tight, focusing on that compression again. Any micro movements you might notice. Now pick your strap up again, place the canvas across the ball of your left foot, straightening that leg. Hold it there. You can bend that knee slightly if you wish. Pull the leg just a little closer to your chest. Continue to hold. Then you're going to hold that left leg out to your left side with or without the strap for that half straddle on the other side. Set your strap aside, lower that left leg back down to the mat. Both legs are straight, stretched out long, arms up overhead. And then hug both of your knees tightly. Continue holding your right knee while you lower the left leg down to the mat. And then maybe with a bolster or pillow, going to place the right knee onto the left side of your body for the supine twist. Arms are in a T. We're going to stay in the supine twist for a minute, keeping your drishti out over your right fingertips. Have the option to use your left hand to apply a light pressure to your right knee at any point in time if you wish. Just relax into the stretch and enjoy. Enjoy this full on twist. Gaze over your right shoulder. Slowly and carefully, you're going to turn your head and neck down over your left shoulder. And then slowly and carefully turn the head and neck back to looking over your right shoulder again. Then back to neutral. Lower that right leg back down to the floor. Hug in both of your knees together. Head and neck towards the knees, rocking and rolling. Then lower your right leg down to the floor, continuing to hug your left knee. Bring the left knee across your body to place it on the floor on the right side for the supine twist. Again, you can use a bolster or a pillow. Arms are in a T. We're going to hold this pose for a minute, keeping your gaze out over your left fingertips. Have the option to use your right hand at any point in time to apply that light pressure to the left knee. Again, just really surrender and relax into it. enjoy this full body supine twist. Slowly turn your head and neck to the right, looking out over the opposite shoulder. And slowly and carefully turn your head and neck to be back over your left shoulder once again. Arms are still in a T. Head and neck are back to neutral. And then we'll lower the left leg back down to the floor, coming out of this twist. Hugging both knees again, stretching your head, your neck towards your knees. Rotate both of your ankles, engaging your feet, flexing your heels, pointing your toes. And now we're going to get into the butterfly. You might want to bolster under your knees. Arms are down by your sides, surrendering to your practice. Then you're going to glide your arms out to the sides, arching them overhead in the half moon into the steeple grip and holding that stretch. And glide your arms back down to your sides like butterfly wings. Hands or palms are facing up. Slowly, we're going to bring the arms back up overhead, touching fingertips to each other. With your arms overhead outstretched, fingers and thumbs touching. Stay in the butterfly pose for a few more breaths. You can remove the bolster if you have one. And then we're going to do reclined tree pose on each side. First, straighten out your left leg and bring the sole of your right foot to the inseam of your inner left thigh above the knee. If you can. Prayer hands overhead, holding it there. Simply switch sides, straightening out your right leg and placing the sole of your left foot to the inseam of your right leg above the knee. Arms are still in prayer hands overhead. You could choose to branch your arms out, goalpost arms, steeple grip, yogi's choice. Then we're going to reach for the strap and get it across the balls of both of your feet, 4 legs up the wall. Knees can be straightened or bent slightly. You can pedal out your knees one at a time. You can rock, you can wiggle, anything you wish. Just remain in place up the wall and without that strap. I usually like it with the strap. So now continue to keep your left foot in the strap on the ball of your left foot. Take your right foot out, placing it across your left thigh for reclined pigeon. You can bend the left knee slightly, that's an option, or you can keep it straightened, or some of each, straightening it and bending it. Then we're going to switch out our feet, getting the right foot into the strap, placing the left foot across your right thigh for reclined pigeon on the other side. Again, you have the option to bend the knee, straighten it, or a little bit of both. Out of this, we'll place the strap off to the side, laying flat, and we're going to do 3 honey bumblebee breaths. Placing the 3 fingers on your eyes, your index finger, your middle finger, ring finger, thumbs on your ear cartilage, pressing your thumbs down on that tragus, closing off the airway to your ears, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. We're going to hum a low pitch 3 times. After that, turn yourself over, slowly turning to the left or the right, flipping yourself over to lay prone on your front side. You can rest your head on your hands, laying on top of one another. Going to prepare for another twist after resting here for a moment. Come up onto your elbows and forearms into the Sphinx. Really feel that Sphinx. And then hike your right knee up to your right side with your right arm out in front of you. With your left arm, you can thread the needle, making any adjustments for the pose that you need as you are to the spine twist once again. You can get your right hand onto your right hip. You can straighten out that right arm. Try to lay it flat on the ground with both shoulders flat, or just keep the right hand on the right hip. At any point, you can use your left hand to apply that slight pressure onto your right knee, keeping your gaze out over your right shoulder. If your arms are in a T, then your drishti is over your right fingertips. Feel the difference from the last supine twist, having gotten into the pose from an entirely different sequence of prompts and directives. So notice any similarities along with the differences. You're ready to come out of this twist, you can rest your head on your hands, laying them on top of one another, again for several breaths. Then, with bent knees, windshield wiper the feet and the calves, gliding them back and forth before lowering your feet back down to the mat. Come back up onto your forearms, your elbows, and your hands into that Sphinx pose again. This time, hike your left knee up to the left side with your left arm out in front of you. Thread your right arm through the needle. And then you can place your left hand on your left hip, same as the other side. You can adjust yourself however you need to. As you're getting into the supine twist once more, both shoulders and arms can be flat on the ground in a T, or you can simply keep your left hand on your left hip. Again, you have the option to apply that light pressure with the right hand, if you wish, on your left knee. And your gaze is over your left shoulder. If your arms are in a T, you're looking out over your left fingertips. As we finish with this pose, we'll come out of the twist again, resting your head on your hands that are on top of one another. This time in an exaggerated motion. Really windshield wiper those feet and knees, loosening your hips out too. And then lower your feet back down to the ground. You're going to send your hips back towards your feet, getting into a wide knee child's pose. You can use a block, a bolster, or a pillow to rest your torso or head on. We're going to hold this position. Just really relaxing your torso, ragdolling the upper portion of your body, allowing gravity to do the work for you. Feeling the props support your body if you're using props. Just trusting gravity to take care of you, keep you safe, give you what you need. When you're done, remove the props, and in a tabletop movement, we're going to get back to laying on our tummies again, back into Sphinx, on your elbows and forearms, this time spreading your hands and your fingers out as wide as you can. and holding that Sphinx pose tall. And then turn your right forearm to be parallel with the top of the mat. Reach back for your left foot with your left hand and hold the half bow for several breaths. Let go of that foot. You can rest your head on your hands again, stacked lightly on top of one another. And windshield wiper your feet once more, really loosening out your hips. Before you lower your feet back down to the floor. And then the same thing for the other side. Coming into the Sphinx, spreading your hands and fingers out as wide as you can. Feeling that Sphinx sitting tall in that pose. Then turning your left forearm to be parallel with the top of your mat. Reaching your right hand back to hold your right foot. Engaging in this half bow for several breaths. Let go of your foot, both feet are back on the mat. And again, send your hips back to the feet, to child's pose. Sitting on your feet, you can rest your head on a block or remain here for a minute. And really loosen, ragdoll your torso. Being here, relaxing into this child's pose. And then you can walk your fingers or slide your hands over to the right edge of the mat, reaching for the right corner of the mat, noticing that stretch across your lower rib cage. Then you can walk your fingers or slide your hands back to neutral. And then sliding or walking your hands and fingers to the left edge of the mat, reaching for that left corner. Focusing on that extension in your lower right ribs. Hold for several breaths. Walk the fingers and hands back to neutral. From child's pose, we're going to raise our torso to come up into hero's pose. Pausing in hero's pose. And we'll swing the legs out around in front of us for staff pose. We're going to have a stack of pillows and props on top of our legs so that we can ragdoll torso over the legs, resting on the props. Alternatively, you can use the strap on the balls of your feet for the same type of effect here. We're going to hold this for an extended period. Really lean into this gravitational pull. Envision tilting your hips slightly towards your feet, towards your toes. Again, trust and allow gravity to do the work for you. relax into your props, trusting that they are here to support you completely. Really surrender into the stretch. Sometimes the ones that seem the easiest can be the most challenging. Hold these poses for a prolonged period of time. Be almost like peeling an onion. Get to a new level and another new level. Just exploring that pose. Giving yourself time. Breathing into it. So good for your muscles and so good for your psyche. You're really encouraging relaxation. You're lowering your stress and your cortisol and your stress hormones. Increasing the oxygenation of your blood. Coming out of this pose, we will remove the pillows or the bolsters. Keep the left leg stretched out long. Bring the right foot to the inseam of the left thigh. Reaching for those left toes. Holding this pose for several breaths. Might have your left toes in your left hand. Reaching your right hand over the toes. Might have both hands on their left foot. Up into neutral, we will then get into a wide straddle stretch. Both legs stretched out to the sides, leaning forward. And then switch it out to the other side. Your left foot goes to the inner right thigh. Right leg stays straight and you're reaching for your right toes. Might be holding your right toes with your right hand. Reaching your left hand over that foot. Again, allow gravity to do some of the work for you. Just relaxing into it. Coming back to neutral with your torso. Going to stretch both legs out again for that wide straddle. Leaning forward, reaching in front of you or resting your forehead on two blocks stacked on top of one another. from this wide straddle, we're gonna come up into the seated butterfly, holding the soles of both of your feet together with your hands, pushing your knees towards the floor, bending your head and neck towards your feet. And bring your head up to neutral. Going to twist the head and neck to the right of the right shoulder. Then back to neutral. To the left. That left shoulder. And then back to neutral. Stretch your neck down, rolling it out lightly from side to side. If you're comfortable with it, you can do a full circle rotation to one direction, then that full circle rotation the other direction. You can turn your head side to side like you're shaking your head no. Nod your head up and down, or indicating yes. Just nice movements. Relaxing your neck. For getting back to neutral and shifting into easy pose. Then we're going to drop the right ear to the right shoulder. You have an option here to use a light pressure with your right fingertips on the top of your head. You can move the head slightly back and forth to massage out some neck muscles there. Really slight, light movements. And then head and neck back to neutral. Before dropping your left ear to your left shoulder. Again with that slight pressure from the left fingertips if you wish. Moving the head and neck slightly back and forth. Enjoying that massage on those neck muscles. And then back to neutral. Again, turn your head slowly from side to side, looking out over your right shoulder. Then neutral. Your left shoulder. And back to neutral. Now we're going to bring ourselves into that wide straddle again, leaning forward. Maybe using the blocks to rest your forehead on again and stacking them on top of one another. We're going to remain here for an extended period. Really lean into it. Pick up the blocks in each of your hands, reaching out over the left foot. You can place one of those blocks on each side of your foot. And rest your hands on each of the blocks, or just reach for your toes. Again, allowing gravity to do this work for you. Trusting your body, trusting gravity. Find that tension, that balance, where you're stretching, but you're not overstretching. And you can pick up those blocks and place them on either side of your right foot, reaching again for your toes, or resting your hands on each of the blocks. That sweet spot. Leaning into it. Now coming back to neutral, our next pose will be bending the right knee over the left leg. It's extended out straight. We're twisting to the right. Second. Right knee over left leg. Yeah, twisting to the right. Gazing to the back of the room. The right hand or fist is on the floor behind you. Arm is supporting your torso, using your left elbow for leverage on your right knee. Your drishti over that right shoulder. Continuing to use that left elbow for leverage on the right knee. Slowly turn your gaze to the front of the room, looking out over your left shoulder. And slowly returning your gaze to the back of the room, looking out over your right shoulder. Again, all while leveraging that left elbow on the right. And then coming out of this twist, we're going to simply switch sides, bending the left knee over the right leg. Right leg is extended out straight. Left hand or fist on the floor behind you, gazing over the left shoulder towards the back of the room. The right elbow is leveraging against that left knee. Continuing to leverage that elbow on that knee. Slowly turning your gaze to look out of the right shoulder towards the front of the room. And then slowly returning your gaze to the back of your left shoulder again towards the back of the room. Continuing to leverage that right elbow on that left knee. Then coming out of this twist, back to neutral into butterfly. Holding the soles of the feet together once again, pressing those knees towards the floor, bending forward. And keep your posture as if a string were being pulled from above, from the top of your head. Coming up. Turn your head slowly to the right, your right shoulder, back to neutral, out over your left shoulder, and back to neutral. And now we will get into Lord of the Fish, bending the right knee over the left knee that is also bent, and twisting to the right. Your right arm is in back of you, your hand or your fist is on the floor, your left elbow is leveraging against that right knee, looking towards the back of the room. Continuing to leverage that elbow on the knee. Feeling that full stretch. Turn your head slowly to be looking out over the opposite shoulder, left shoulder. Slowly turning your head to be looking back out over your right shoulder again. Back to neutral. Straighten both legs out in front of yourself for staff pose. Reaching your arms out to the sides, up to the sky. Interlace your fingers and then turn both hands outwards, reaching up tall. And bending forward towards your toes. For switching legs for the other side. Coming up, we will get the left bent knee over the right bent and twisting to the left. Right arm is leveraging against that left knee. You're looking over your left shoulder to the back of the room. You have your left hand or your left fist on the floor behind you. Continuing to leverage. Slowly turn your gaze to the other side of the room, looking out over your right shoulder, continuing to leverage that elbow knee. Slowly returning the gaze over the left shoulder to look towards the back of the room once again. to neutral. We will return into the staff pose, reaching those arms out wide, legs are out in front, making that half moon arch, touching your fingertips overhead, and then bending forward to reach for your toes. As you come up into neutral from that, transition your legs into easy pose, reaching your arms out to your sides, then arching them up for the half moon, touching the hands together for bringing them into cactus arms, preparing for eagle arms. From cactus or goalpost arms, bring your elbows together with your right elbow over the left elbow. Your hands together, pushing your elbows slightly up and bending your head and neck down. Slowly bring your gaze up towards the sky, moving your eagle arms with your head and neck, slowly looking up as high as possible, leaning your head slightly back while pushing your eagle arms towards the sky. Then we're going to unpretzel yourself coming out of this, reaching arms back out wide, arching them up into another half moon, touching hands together overhead, and then back into cactus once again for eagle arms, with the left elbow over the right elbow this time, pushing those elbows slightly up, bending your head and your neck slightly down. Feel that stretch across your neck and your shoulder blades. And then slowly we're going to begin looking up as high as possible, moving the eagle arms with the head and the neck slowly, carefully, leaning your head back slightly while pushing the eagle arms towards the sky. Once again, unpretzel yourself, stretch your arms out wide to the sides, reaching out and arching them overhead. One more half moon to the steeple grip, sitting tall. Lean forward over your right thigh at about the 2 o'clock position. Arms are still in steeple grip, hands are still in steeple grip. Glide your torso across the front of your feet and legs, over towards the left thigh at around the 10 o'clock mark. And then slowly gliding your torso, still in the steeple grip, back to the right leg at about that 2 o'clock pose again, before coming up and reaching straight up. Now we're going to lay down on our backs, plant both feet on the floor, knees bent. Might want to hold a block or pillow in between your knees, and maybe another block, pillow, bolster next to you on either side, so that you can allow your knees to fall to the right. Arms are in a T, It's a nice, simple stretch. We're just going to relax into it. Keeping your gaze out over your left fingertips. Slowly, you're going to rotate your head to look the other direction over your right shoulder. Back again, looking over your left shoulder. Head back, neck back to neutral. Then bring both your knees to neutral before allowing both knees to then fall to the left. With those arms still in a T, gazing out over your right fingertips. Such a simple stretch. Sometimes the simple ones are the best ones. Less is more. Slowly, we're going to turn the head and the neck, gazing out over the left shoulder. And then slowly back to gazing out over your right shoulder. Back to neutral. Knees are back to neutral. Remove the props, then plant both feet firmly onto the mat. Put your right knee over your left knee, allowing your legs to fall to the right. Arms are in a T, gazing out over your left fingertips. This one is my favorite. I like to say they're all my favorite, but this one is my absolute favorite of all the twists. Out of this, we'll bring the legs up to neutral, hugging both knees to the chest, rocking and rolling. Place both feet back onto the mat again. For the other side, your left knee over the right knee, falling the legs to the left side. Holding this with your gaze over your right fingertips, arms are in a T. Get your knees back up to neutral. Hugging in both your knees again. One more time, rocking and rolling. If you would like to, you have an opportunity here to do the happy baby. You can rock the baby, maybe alternating, straightening and slightly bending each knee. If you don't want to do happy baby, you can do whatever stretches your body is telling you that it needs right now. We're going to be heading into supported bridge if you want to meet us there. Just moving around in that happy baby. Doing the splits. Bending, straightening knees. Coming out of this form, we'll lay flat and then plant the feet firmly on the mat, reaching for a block, lifting the hips, sliding the block under the small of the back for supported bridge. You want your block on its lowest level. That's what's recommended. We're going to remain in supported bridge. Just allowing gravity to support your hips on that block. While still on the block, you can reach for your strap, or you can do this without the strap if you wish. We're going to do the legs up the wall. So if you want to get the feet across, get the strap across the balls of your feet. This legs up the wall. Oh no, my water bottle is not found. Oh, that water. Such my 17. I try to always have to. Sometimes I don't. Right. When you're done with that, you're gonna set the strap aside, remove the block, and if it's in your practice, there's an option here for shoulder stand and also the plow. Take a couple of minutes to do these if you choose, or yogi's choice. Again, any stretching that your body is asking for right now. We're going to be in Savasana if you don't want to take the time for shoulder stand and flat. Feeling any other stretches, we'll just meet you in Savasana. coming out of the plow. And then you're going to want to do that as slow and controlled as possible with your chin tucked, rolling yourself down to the floor one vertebrae at a time. Savasana, corpse pose.
I'm gonna have to cut it short here today, you guys.
It's relaxed.